What is the Havoc Rush in Tempest Rising, and why can the Tempest Dynasty faction end matches with it before they even begin in earnest? This is what I will show you now in both how to and how not to do categories. I personally didn't come up with this as I don't enjoy rush gameplay, but one of my viewers showed me a particularly fast way to do this and made it easy for me to showcase it to you. There is also a game mechanic which turns this rush from a nuisance to a match-ending tactic before 3 minutes are out. So let's begin with the build order and some variations to it, and then I will explain the tactics you can use and how much does map size come into it. First building is as it must be the machine shop, while you use the logistic plant to reduce its build time by 20%, but you have to turn off this plant before you build it. Once that one is down, you begin the production of a Tempest rig, while your second building is the power plant. Once you place the power plant down, you enable its power distribution mode, helping to recruit the Tempest rig faster and immediately queue up Havocs after it. This is what makes this rush tactic so economy risky, because you are forfeiting some economy development to deal damage early on. If you fail to deal damage, you are behind on economy. The power distribution mode is turned off automatically as soon as you place down another machine shop, which is your third building in this build order. In it too, you queue up more Havocs as the target number is 3 or 4 depending on the more complex choice of tactics. Your first Havoc should be recruited before the 130 mark, while the fourth should come out before 210. This is a very strong force to have on the field at this time in the match, and on such a small map like this one, you can be in the enemy's base by 225. If they went for a build that doesn't help them to counter this rush, they have already lost the match. The prime target for this Havoc rush are power plants or harvesters, while some players might go for Tempest processing centers. And this is where mistakes can happen. If, for example, like me in this match, you run into a GDF barracks with drone operators garrisoned inside of it, and instead of backing off, you commit to the skirmish. I was also late to attack in this example because I took the time to check did my opponent capture Tempest processing centers. Another way to be late and ruin this rush for yourself is to stop around the map to take out lone enemy infantry units or engineers, as Havocs are not fast at killing infantry units, and the time you take doing this not only shows your rush tactic to the enemy player, but it also gives them time to change their plans and prepare. But what makes this particular attack most interesting compared to other Havoc rush tactics is the use of the Marshall Plan at the command center, which unlocks the use of Tempest Dynamos for Havocs. Do note this will require having a second power plant at your base and will reduce the available Havocs from 4 to 3. What this dynamo effect does is double the Havoc's fire rate at the cost of dealing damage to themselves. It also stacks with the Havoc's stat boost received from veterancy levels, which is why I always say percentage-based upgrades for units are not a good way to improve units in RTS games, as they start becoming game-breaking. This is the main part of this rush, which gives it insane power, but if you choose the wrong target at the wrong time, you end up wasting this rush. However, against new players, especially casual players, who don't do rush tactics nor are equipped to deal with them, it is a devastating tactic and you will absolutely ruin their gameplay experience. So I would say use it with caution and maybe keep it exclusive to the multiplayer matchmaking ladder part of the game. As for map size, it does matter a lot when using this Havoc rush tactic. On big maps, it takes your units much longer to get to enemy starting positions, and it takes away valuable seconds delaying your attack. You might think a few seconds don't make a difference, but in gameplay as fast as this, it very much does. If you have experience with this rush tactic on different maps, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. In my previous video where I talked about infantry spam and rushing, a link to which is up here and down in the description, I showed you a similar Havoc rush, but this one too was late. And even with my opponent showing up with more Havocs and destroying many harvesting rigs, the extra time allowed me to tech up and send a force to his base, which ended this match. You can learn all about infantry rushes in the video I mentioned. Now I have just two more important points to talk about when it comes to Havoc units in this rush. One is that the Tempest Dynasty's first doctrine, in its third tree, upgrades the area of effect damage Havocs inflict, and it is a must if you plan to continue doing this tactic later in the match, especially against Dynasty infantry spams or GDF drone operators and their respawning drones. The second point is the use of the Mechanist Infantry Specialist, which is a unit that has a repair range for vehicles around it, and so even if you go with the Tempest Dynamo's ability for Havocs and start losing health to gain that double fire rate, the Mechanist, the repair ability, will counteract this reduction in health. Lastly, there is another doctrine, the Empowered Dynamos Doctrine, which is the fourth in the middle tree, and it reduces damage taken from enemy units by 40% while Tempest Dynamos are active on a unit. So now you know how to do this and what not to do with it, and I hope you will use this knowledge wisely. For more guides and tutorials on Tempest Rising, use the cards on the screen and links in the description. Thank you for watching and happy gaming!